And we should be live. Let me give it a minute to see if I see the names coming up. Not the names, but the number. Irony. Right, the number is not coming up, but I've got the chat. Can you guys hear me yet? Oh, perfect. Yeah, I see the numbers now, so we should be all good. Welcome again, Linda, Tish. Hi, Michelle. Nice to see you here. Anne, Suzanne, Ronnie, Catherine. So we've got about 10 minutes to go. So if any of you were watching this on replay in the next few days, if you want to skip the hellos, you could skip the next 10 minutes. Although today it's just an informal chat, it's an ask me anything question. So I suppose everyone is here for a chat anyway. You hear me fine? Perfect. Perfect. Let me show you where I am. I am in my local park, Burgess Park. We are by the BMX track. Hi Martin, nice to see you here. You might see the Shard straight ahead in the distance. And Mary is here. Welcome, Mary. I'm not allowed to do BMX myself. Well, I suppose I could now because I'm an adult, but I was not allowed as a teenager because I broke my arm on one of those BMX tracks when I was 11. And Sandrine is here. Welcome, Sandrine. So we've got about 8 minutes to go. We're just waiting for everyone to connect. And we are live from Burgess Park. I didn't know whether I should do it from home, so at least the background noises wouldn't be there, or if I should show you a bit of sunset. It's already hidden behind the buildings, but... Hi Katie, nice to see you here. Welcome. Welcome to Burgess Park. Some of you have been here with me before. We've been here, well, a couple of times when we were throwing the dice on the Monopoly board, and we've also been here when we did the All Kent Road on the Monopoly. Let me show you actually. If I show you down this side, if you see that block just there, we've been in there, you know, when we talked about the Aylesbury estate that is going to be knocked down eventually. So yeah, we've been around here before. You did, Alice. You are here and we are live. Well done, you've made it. So we're just waiting for everyone to connect. And you are in the sun in Athens, Mary. Well, it's sunny here as well. It's getting a bit chilly because the sun is going down, but... And Tariq is here, just out of an exhibition. You're always everywhere, Tariq. You must see a lot of great stuff. So we've got 6 minutes to go. Only 3 p.m. for you. It is here, it's 10 past 8 p.m. And we still have a few people in the park, but it's getting much quieter because the sun should go down in half an hour. Let me show you the BMX. I used to have a BMX bike, even over here in London, but I sold it. I was never very good anyway. It's probably for the best, because being self-employed, you don't want to break an arm or a leg or anything, so it's probably better. Well, no one wants to break an arm, but when you are an employee, it's a bit different. Did I fully zoom out? Yes, I think I did. Yes, that is the shard dish. Let me zoom in to show you. There it is. So we're not too far. We are in Southwark. So we just maybe a mile and a half down from the shard. Maybe not even. Hi Abby, nice to see you here. Oh, now I've fully zoomed out. Let me see how long we've got. 4 minutes. 4 minutes to go. So if any of you did not know, if any of you just joined because of the notification, tonight it's not a tour, it's not a live walk. I'm not gonna move. I'll just be answering a few of your questions. Hi Judy, nice to see you here. I wanted to do another Ask Me Anything for a while, because some of you might remember last time I did, so that was, I think it was in January, I managed to skip a full page of, I had some screenshots of the questions, and I accidentally screenshotted the same page twice. So I had skipped some interesting questions, so I always wanted to schedule a new one to address those. I've missed it. Ooh, yeah, it can be a bit dangerous, BMX. The power and politics of textile. Oh, I didn't even know it was on. Interesting. And my namesake is here. Welcome, Natalie. Nice to see you here. Perfect timing. We've got a few minutes before we start. It's a night fest, yes. Let me see what time it is. 2 minutes. Woohoo! I've just got a notification, so I've got a good news for you. I'm taking you to Dover. I've just got a message now, so that's cool. I have to go to pick up some people in Dover next month, so I'll do a tour of Dover. That's exciting. I've not been myself. I've been to get on the ferry, but I've not actually explored much of the out of the town, so that'll be cool. Have I fallen off my bike? Mike, no, not recently. I did when I was 11. I didn't really fall down as such. Well, I just jumped and badly landed on one of those tracks like here. Yeah. It's not even because I was so bad, it's just because I had been the day before, and in between there was a competition, so they had put some new gravels. I did not expect that, so I just smashed myself, and you could see the bone coming out. Your gran used to live in Dover? Ah, that's cool. Lynn is asking, am I married? Do I have any kids? No, I'm not married, and I don't have any kids. And they're probably not going to happen by accident, because I'm gay, so I'll have to try really hard to have them. Let me see if it's even time. Yes, it is 1:15. So welcome everyone. Let's get started. So we've got a few questions. Feel free to add some more into the chat. I usually try to get them ahead, just so we don't get the chat too busy, and I don't miss any. I just got one of those little pollens, the one I blew off the other day. Anyway, so yes, we've got a few questions. If you have any more coming to mind, pop them into the chat, and don't be shy, even if you think they're a bit nosy or a bit personal. If I want to ignore them, I can still ignore them. Anyway, where was I born? I was born in Tours, in Indre-et-Loire. That's a place we have been together. At the very beginning, when I first moved into YouTube, one of the first tours I did was actually in Tours. I didn't stay long. I think I stayed there for 9 months, so I don't have any memories of Tours, but that's where I was born. That is the place where they're meant to speak the Frencher French. In terms of accents and everything, it's meant to be the original French. Not that I speak that original French anymore, because now people tell me I have an accent, a British accent or a weird accent, but yeah. What's my most favorite place in London to spend time? Ooh, that's a tricky one. Yes, Tours. So that's quite interesting, because I mean, obviously I was born in Tours and I'm a tour guide, and also I'm called Nathalie. Nathalie, there's a famous song about a tour guide called Nathalie. So yes, I was let's say destined for the job. So yeah, favorite place to hang in London. I'm tempted to say the South Bank, but it gets very busy there. So I also like Peckham, for example, just down here. And I don't know, what was the other one? Another reason I left France. What was it? I don't remember what I've said now. Yeah, it probably was another reason why I left France. Right, was there another one? No, I think that's right. So let's start with the questions that have been posted. So Sandrine is asking, would I consider taking you on other part of England? Yes, definitely. I've already done a few. At the moment, to be honest, I don't really make enough money to literally travel only for a tour. Well, there are always ways to go a bit further for cheaper, like coaches and stuff like that. But yeah, I would usually try to schedule a tour into places I'm going to for work or anything. So that's why I've taken you to Skegness a few weeks ago. I'm actually going back to Skegness tomorrow. It's been 3 times this month. But yeah. Oh, and I'm also taking you. So I've got another one. Probably shouldn't tell you not to get you too excited, but I think I'm getting you I'm taking you to Bognor in July. Bognor Regis. So we talked about Bognor when did we talk about Bognor? Oh, when we talked about George V, of course. So yes, hopefully I'll be able to take you to Dover and Bognor, and of course we're heading to Peterborough in a couple of weeks. So yes, right. Let's see the next question. Oh yes, Tariq. Oh, absolutely. Well, I wouldn't have any problems being gay in France, but yes, let's say that there are a lot more gay clubs in London, and the nightlife in general is one of the reasons why I moved here, because you don't need to drive, because back home to go to a club I would have to drive, so I couldn't drink. A lot of my friends didn't have a driving license yet, so I couldn't have a drink or anything. I used to be a bit of a party animal when I first moved here. I've got a bit older now, but yeah. Where is my favorite place in the world? Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know. I've got so many. And it depends, a place for what? A place for holiday. I mean, Asia is amazing and cheap, beautiful beaches, but would I want to live with that humidity? And I mean, I used to live in the tropics and I don't want to live there all year round. How young am I? I'm 37. I just turned 37 last month. Anyway, let's see. What have we got? What's that? Oh, Linda is asking. Well, Linda, you might notice I've blurred you. I blurred anyone that asked me on Facebook. I have blurred your or covered your last name, simply because. Well, there are a lot of scammers these days on the internet, a lot of them. I actually spoke to 2 scammers this week, and some of them are getting very, very, very niche and very good. So I don't want anyone to contact you on Facebook, for example, a love scammer on everything, and be like, hey, I know you from Natalie's tour, and then, they'll try to seduce you or anything. So I prefer to, whoever asked me anything on Facebook, I've just taken the last names off, just so you don't talk to scammers or love scammers. I spoke to a ridiculous love scammer a few days ago. And I also had another scam this week, an interesting one. Someone that, and you know what, if they had been a bit more organized, I could have fallen for it. They contacted me on LinkedIn asking me if I would like to do a podcast with them. Just because I didn't know them from anywhere and they didn't say where they knew me from, I was like, that's dodgy. I bet they'll send me a file in a moment. And the next thing you know, I was like, oh, what type of podcast? The next thing you know, they send me a file to download, which of course I didn't. But, if they had been a bit more organized, if they had maybe mentioned, hey, I know you from YouTube or I know you from this and that, I could have clicked on it, So yeah, we have to be very careful. Anyway, what was my absolute worst travel experience? I had a few, but I think I had the worst ever night in Cambodia. Everything turned up fine, so at the end of the day it's good because it reminds you that we are lucky to live in a country where you can trust the police. Well, people like Sarah Everard might not agree with me, but generally in this country you can trust the police and the emergency services in general. So what happened is we were out in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. 2 of my friends lived there, and my friend Big Ben and I were visiting. It was the last night for me after 3 weeks there. We went to a nightclub. We had a few drinks, and my other friend left the group, and he comes back. That friend, when he's a bit drunk, he looks very drunk. So he looks like, he acts all drunk. So he looks like a target victim, And he comes back running towards us saying, they've taken my money, the tuk-tuk driver, they've taken my money. And the 2 of us, instead of running the other direction, we literally run towards the enemy to get the money back. The next thing you know, we are surrounded, so it's 3 of us, we are surrounded by about 10 tuk-tuk drivers. One of them had a big metal bar, and they were surrounding us. And they used the bar to hit my friend Big Ben. Big Ben, as you might have guessed from his name, is quite tall, he's 6'8", and Big Ben fell, boom, like on his head, on the floor. So because he's quite tall, you fall from height. And so Big Ben is on the floor, unconscious, and his glasses flew off of his face, and he looks dead on the floor. And at that point, I was convinced that he was milking it. And I thought, oh, very smart. He's actually pretending to be dead. This way the attackers are going to run away, right? And the police came. I think what happened is one of the tuk-tuk driver actually gave them a little note. So the police actually left us with my dead friend on the floor. And at that point, I was still convinced that he was milking it. And then he actually vomits a bit, and then he stayed there in his vomit. And I was like, crap, he's actually unconscious. I know now that it's actually one of the symptoms of head trauma, but I didn't know then. I knew he didn't have a travel insurance, that I knew. And we didn't know how to go to hospital or even how to take him home, because the tuk-tuk the drivers, they were the attackers, so we couldn't take a tuk-tuk. And eventually we called another friend with a motorcycle, so we took a tuk-tuk but with the motorcycle, so at least we felt a bit stronger. We took Big Ben home. He's still unconscious, but he had kind of he had made some noises. So my friend was like, no, don't worry, he's just drunk. I'm like, no, he's not drunk. But we couldn't go to hospital because we didn't have a travel insurance. And they decided to put Big Ben into bed, well, with me, because we slept together. So we went to bed for a few minutes, and then I was like, no, that's it, we're going to hospital. I don't care. I don't want to wake up next to my dead friend. We're going to hospital. Either we pay or we do insurance fraud. So we decided to go with the fraud. So we decided to use my other friend's insurance, pretending that he was the other guy. That was very risky because one is 6'8", the other one is so they would need passport and everything. So we jumped on a taxi, an actual taxi, a car. They're quite rare there. I mean, most people are on a tuk-tuk, but went to hospital, pretending that my friend was the other friend. They called the insurance, everything went fine, but the hospital was not really a hospital as Cambodia is very much of a developing country. And they had a CT scan, so Big Ben is still unconscious. They put him in the CT scan, but they didn't know how to read the scan. They had to send the scan to Thailand because they didn't know how to read it. And eventually they came back to us and they're like, actually, we can't do anything from here. We're going to have to fly him to Thailand. I was like, fly? How? Helicopter. So that would have cost, I don't know, 20K on the travel insurance. And obviously you need to use your passport to fly to Thailand. So I was like, no. It was a terrible decision to take, because we literally didn't know if he was indeed dying and if he had to go to Thailand. And I could imagine myself tell his parents, I'm sorry, I just decided not to take him to Thailand because he didn't have a travel insurance and we were actually frauding. So we said no. We left him there in the hospital. They didn't want to keep us all night, so we left him there unconscious. We came back at 5 a.m. Eventually he woke up early morning. He was in a very sorry state, but he did wake up. So then the decisions were his from that point. And everything went fine. We didn't get caught. Like the insurance never found out. So everything, And he actually decided to stay in Cambodia. He came back a year later. But yeah, so it really makes you realize that first, it's a good thing to be in a country with a police you can trust and doctors you can trust as well, because those guys had no clue. They couldn't read a CT scan. We couldn't get a proper answer for anything. I didn't know if my friend was dying or not. And also now I always did at the time because my dad is in insurance, but yeah, always take a travel insurance. Even when I go to France, I take a travel insurance because obviously I'm not paying any taxes in France, so I don't have the thing. And you've got the European health system here, but the governmental website doesn't work, so I don't have one. Anyway, and it's actually a happy story at the end. It was very stressful, but at the end everything went fine. So you ask a love scammer if they could send you 20. Well, you know what? I like to waste their time as well. So the one that contacted me this week, it's always on Instagram. I never get any of them on Facebook. American Soldier, the classic. And he messaged me saying that I look very attractive on my photos. But you might know on my Instagram, I don't have any photos of me. There's the little one, the profile picture that is like 2 centimeters big, but there's no photos of me. It's only photos of London. And I just replied, hey, flattering, mate, but there's no photos of me on my Instagram. And then he went on about how it was great to get to know me and stuff. And I said to him, hey, you know what? I've got a little crush on love scammers. And then he's like, oh, I don't understand. then I cut off the conversation because I wanted to tell him, because on his profile he had some photos of dead animals, dead hunting thing, like dead deers and stuff. I wanted to tell him, if you want to be a great love scammer and you want ladies to fall in love with you, you might want to remove the dead animals from your profile. But I didn't, because I didn't want him to get any better at scamming. So I stopped the conversation. Anyway, let me see what's next. Oh, Tina, I think we actually addressed this one last time, but what do you say at the beginning of your videos? I say, hey, gang. Yes, only on my videos. I don't really say that on lives, but when I start a video, yeah, I often say, hey, gang. Just for branding, this way when people click on a video, they'll know straight away it's me. I don't know if it's needed, but yeah, so that's what I say. Right, let me check the next one. Oh, that's Mark, so we actually have a few here. So if I could interview, hey gang, not gong, if I could interview a politician on my tour, who would that be and why? Gang, not gong, gang, like a group of people. I don't even know what I'm pronouncing wrong. I mean, that's the way I hear it. Oh, you were stuck in the lift in Baltimore. Oh, I wouldn't like to be stuck in the lift. But yeah, you're my gang. Anyway, politicians. Who would I interview? Mark is asking. I think if you had asked me a week ago, I probably would have had no clue. But now I have to say Keir Starmer, because he's now involved in the baby reindeer scandal. Oh, Ronnie, I'll tell you in a moment. I didn't see it yet. So yeah, So for some of you that don't know, Baby Reindeer, it's a Netflix show that just came out, and it's about a stand-up comedian that is being stalked. It's a true story, and it's a big scandal at the moment because the character Martha came out as Sonia Harvey, and she's trying to sue Netflix because the story might not be 100% true. So big deal in the media at the moment. And it just turned up that very Fiona Harvey was also harassing Keir Starmer. So for the ones that don't know, Keir, he's probably he might be our future Prime Minister, who knows, is the leader of the Labour Party. So it turned up that very lady that is portrayed in the Netflix show, she's pretending not to have been harassing or stalking anyone ever, and not to be a convicted stalker, but it turned up that she's been stalking Keir Starmer. 276 very aggressive emails on his public email. So, you know, as a citizen, you are allowed to email your MP, although it's not even a local one. But yeah, she's been harassing him. She's been using some horrible terms to talk about his wife, and she said his life is not going to be worth living, and so she's literally threatening him. So yeah, if I had to interview a politician, that would have to be him. Right, hold on, I think I've missed the French food. What's my favorite French food? That's a rough one. I don't really like French food. Well, there are some good foods in France, but I don't really like cream or cheese. So I actually think I should have been born in Asia. I guess crepes. I'm from Brittany, so we do have a lot of crepes. So that's probably my favorite. Although I'm not usually much of a sweet tooth, but yeah. Right, was there another one? Did I miss another one here? No. French fries. Not particularly, no. Although it's very much debatable if the fries are French or Belgium. I think they might. It's a bit of a historical debate. Anyway, Mark again is asking, if you ever had a seat at the House of Lords, what your maiden speech be, and where would you be the Baroness of? Example, Croydon. Well, I don't think I'll have a seat at the House of Lords anytime soon, because I think you have to be British anyway. You have to be British, or you might be okay being a citizen of the Commonwealth, and I've got no intention to get a British passport quite yet. Or never, if it stays at the price it is. It costs about £1,800 to get a British passport, and personally I think it's some kind of class discrimination. So I don't want it and I don't need it, but I would need it if I wanted to be in Parliament. What would my speech be? To be honest, I have no idea. I will only write a speech if I get there, and I'll be the Baroness of well, I could be the Baroness of Bermondsey just there, because that rhymes. But really, I think I'd probably be the Baroness of Peckham. Yeah. Right, there was another question, I think, Tish. Yeah. If money was no object, where would I live in London? Probably the Borough Market, somewhere on the South Bank, because it's not far from here, actually. It's like 12 minutes on the bicycle from here, because I'll be right next to the tower to go to work. I could walk to work at the tower, and I could Baroness of Barking. Oh no, not Barking. That rhymes as well, but no. Well, I said no. I don't really know much about Barking apart from the serial killer, you know, the guy that was targeting gay boys in parks, the one that is played by what's his name? Stefan Port, but what's the actor? Anyway, no, not Barking. So yeah, Borough Market somewhere, or anywhere near Borough or London Bridge, or on that side of the river. Yeah. Right, let's go back to Mark. I think there was one more. If I could dress up on a night out for a tour, what would be the most spectacular outfit I'll wear? Oh, on a night out or for a tour. So night out, a Smurf. I've actually done it before. I was a great Smurf. It looked quite impressive. Although I didn't get into the party, I was not really invited. We just tried to get on, and when you try to it's not very good. When I was not invited, but I thought later on through the night I could just get in. But a Smurf, it's so noticeable that I didn't get in. I spent the night in the car, and for a tour, I guess I'd have to be Annie Chapman or a Victorian sex worker, let's say. Right, there was one more from... If you could meet King Charles, what would you ask him and what would you buy him? What would I ask him? I would ask him if he could just put the changing of the guards back on every day through the summer. Thank you very much, Charles, because he's cancelled it. You know, we used to have... because through the summer I'm very often by Buckingham Palace, because I do tours where I basically take people around the changing of the guards, and then I bring them into the palace. At the time of Queen Elizabeth II, for about 8 weeks, we had the changing of the guards every single day. And Charles, well, with the Ministry of Defence, he's decided to stop that. That was a bit embarrassing because he actually did that last minute, so we didn't have time to cancel the tours. So I would ask him to put that back on, please, Charles, if you're watching, that'll be great. It's much better for crowd management as well, because it gets very, very busy, and it's very difficult to take large groups there. And what would I buy him? Earplugs, I think, because he's actually complained before to be unwell. He's complained about the noise of the changing of the guards by his windows. So I would get him some earplugs. Although I don't think you need to buy much gifts to the king. I think he's got enough money to buy whatever he needs, really. Right. Another one for Mark. What is the most views a tour guide has ever had on YouTube, and how can you beat this? A tour guide, I don't know if you mean a tour guide in general. They have a lot of... There actually are quite a lot of tour guides that are on YouTube, because they would have started through COVID, so I don't know. I don't know if you mean a Hego tour guide. I don't know the most views they've had, but how can we beat this? Well, I mean, if you manage to book me for an interview with Keir Starmer, I can probably get quite a few views, because I'm sure people would love to hear what he's got to say about baby reindeer, Martha. Otherwise, I don't know. What we can do together that would help the algorithm is maybe, we've got a lot of even myself, instead of posting on my Facebook group, really, I should be posting in the community section on YouTube, because YouTube works with engagement. So, even, when we are on Facebook and I post a link for a tour, and maybe you might tell me, oh, I'm looking forward to it. Well, really, I mean, it's great to know that, and it's great to have some engagement on Facebook as well. But really, I think if we could try to say that on YouTube instead, as a comment under the tour, for example, that could get the algorithm ticking and be like, oh, people care, she's got a community there. So that's one little thing that we could, and also just liking the tours or the videos. I think that could help on a very small scale, but that could potentially help a little bit with the algorithms. Exactly, Natalie. Yes, thank you. Right, let's see the next one. Peter is asking, what is... oops. No. Oh, good. Sorry, I'm a bit stuck here. Hold on. What will be the winning lottery numbers this weekend? Well, I'm sorry to let you know, but I don't actually know. What I can tell you for sure is that I'm not gonna win the lottery this weekend, because 100% of the winners have played, and I don't play. If you want me to give you some numbers, I can. How many digits do we need? Is it 10? I worked in a petrol station through the COVID lockdowns. I should know that, because we used to do the lottery thing. How many digits? I can give you some digits if you want, but I don't know how many we need. I probably wouldn't bet on it, though. Anyway, let me check the next one. Oh, so those are some of the questions I've missed. 6 months ago, I've missed a page of a screenshot. What are the 3 things that you love most about your job, and the list? That's actually an interesting question. Shame that I missed it last time. 3 things that let's start with the negatives this way. Let's get them out of the way. Negatives, 3. I hate the cancellation system. Since, before COVID, every different company would have different cancellation policies. It could be 72 hours, it could be 48 hours, if you couldn't make it to your trips for any reason. Since COVID, it's gone down to 24 hours. And it's not gone back to the way it was before. And it's very unfair for us guides, because, for example, in the last few months, a lot of I do food tours. It's a new tour for a company I work for, take them to Fortnum and Mason and stuff like that. when you book a tour, you're probably not aware that you are the only one booked. But I'm talking about in-person tours, of course. And I had a lot of people that would cancel the day before. What they don't realize, it's not, I don't blame the people, I blame the system. It's that I would get unbooked then, I'm not going to get paid or anything. So you lose half a day because you've not, or a day if it's a full day tour, because you've not made any other plans, whether it is to see friends or anything, or just to accept another job. Because very often you get requests for the same day. So if I get cancelled 24 hours ahead, I double miss because I miss out on that job. Plus, I miss out on the jobs I've not taken. So it's just a shame that, you know, the big platforms like Viator or Get Your Guide, they've not gone back to the system we had before COVID. Another negative, you so much rely on reviews. Anyone has the power to basically tarnish my reputation, and some people are rude. Some people just are very rude, and you always have to be extremely polite with them, and because you're scared of the review, because sometimes they make up stuff. You know, like if they have a complaint, any type of complaint, they'll make up some more stuff to make it look worse on the review. So that's something that is always in your mind, you know. Instead of having a 100% natural interaction with people, you always think, oh, I don't want to upset them for any reason, even if, you know. So yeah, the review. Michaela is asking, how can you book an in-person tour with me? Well, you can contact me anywhere to have a private tour, so we could arrange something. If you wanted to go into any of my group tours, the ones I do the most would be the changing of the guards, or I also do a tour starting at the tower and finishing at the changing of the guards, or even food tours. I could give you a discount for one of the companies I work for. I think it's not much, it's like 5 or 10%. It doesn't really bring me anything because I get paid the same whether I have 5 people or 20 people. But yeah, if you were coming to London, I could tell you my schedule that week, and potentially, if they are not fully booked, give you a discount for the tours I'm already booked for. Yeah. If they complain. Yes, well, the thing is, that's the third thing I was probably going to say. It's that it's pretty much everything, it's the guide's fault. And most of the time I don't work for myself. I do as well, but most of the time, for example, the route, the schedule, I'm not the one that designed those stuff. Some of those tours I probably would design very differently if it was me. But anything that happens, anything that is wrong, even if it's just the weather, even if it's the Uber boat being late, or if it's the guards not turning up, or if it's the Ministry of Defense putting the Gurkha soldiers instead of the bearskin hats, then it's my fault. So basically anything that goes wrong, it's the guide's fault. I used to do tours, you know, taking people on a coach to the airport and stuff. Depending on traffic, you could be at the airport a bit too early. It's your fault. If you're at the airport a bit late, if they miss their plane, it's your fault. So everything is your fault. That's probably a negative about the job. Now let's go into positives. Positives, I think it's the best job in the world. You get paid to talk to people. I mean, you know, what more do you want? You meet a lot of people from everywhere, so that's great as well. And also, you get to be a tourist as well, you know, like, well, some places, like, you know, I don't care about going to see the changing of the guards for the 700th time, but, you know, as I mentioned, I might go to pick up some people in Dover next month. I've not been before. I don't have to guide in Dover, but I'll just pick them up. So, you know, sometimes you do get to experience or re-experience your area and your country as a tourist almost, you know. My worst day was at Heathrow Airport flying to Greece. I had lost all my money and wanted to use the WC badly. They were asking for money to unlock the toilets. Oh, at Heathrow? that must have been a while ago, because nowadays we always have toilets at the airport, and very much free. I myself spent quite a few hours at Heathrow. What I used to, when I'd pick up groups, I would used to hold a sign, at the arrivals and wait for people. You like seeing the Gurkha? You know what, Suzanne? I like the Gurkhas myself because, so for the ones that don't know, the Gurkha, they are a regiment of soldiers. They are actually from Nepal, all of them. And they're very much part of the British Army. What happened is that when Britain was in charge of India, they had a war against Nepal. And the Brits won, of course. There were many more of them anyway. But they were massively impressed by the courage of these very fierce soldiers. They're meant to be the bravest soldiers in the world. And in the peace treaty with Nepal, they had a clause that stated that the British Army would be able to hire some soldiers from the Nepalese army. So they are a very interesting regiment, and I actually like when they do the changing of the guards, because what I'll do is I wouldn't say anything. So people expect the King's Guard, the bearskin hat, and I'll wait until the Gurkhas come out. So they're all Nepalese, so they're all the same ethnicity. And I'll wait until people ask, because usually it's very funny because they don't know how to phrase it. So they'll go, is there a special ethnicity that you need to be from to be a guard? It's like, because they don't want to sound racist or anything, so they're looking for a way to phrase it, which is always very funny. And then I would explain that it's the Gurkha, but usually I wait until they ask, just because it's funny. Yes, the Gurkhas are very lovely people. Some of them got a pizza for my friend the other day. They were at the pub and she ended up in front of the barracks, and there was some kind of a ceremony in a little party in the barracks. She couldn't go in, but the Gurkhas brought her some pizza, and they actually were chatting with the Gurkhas outside. Anyway, which place would you want to guide if you were? Which place would I want to guide if I wasn't in London? I don't know. The thing is, wherever I'd moved to, it would take a little while to get the credibility to be a guide. But wherever you have a lot of history. So, history is everywhere. You just need to find it. The question is not really where I would want to guide, is where I would want to live. Because I think you could guide anywhere, but I don't want to live outside of London. I'm very, very happy in London at the moment. Mike, I did mention the Hammersmith nude murders, Jack the Stripper, in my tour of Chiswick. It's not the full tour, but I do mention them, yeah. Five places in the world. I don't have any. I don't know. The world is too big. I don't really actually. I'm not the type of person that would go back to the same place. On a holiday, I like to explore. So yeah. Yeah, in the 90s. Yeah. So that has changed. Now you've got free toilet. Right, where were we? There was one more there, I think. Oh yes, Happy Camper. So that's again from 6 months ago, but I had skipped it. How do you prepare for your tours? You're so knowledgeable, thank you. How much time do you spend on research, resources, etc.? Well done, there are some questions coming into the chat at the same time. Is there a tour in London where I wanted to go where I haven't yet? Yes, LS, not one, there are a lot. I I have a long bucket list or brainstorm. I have a full notebook of brainstorm actually, but there are a lot of places I've not done yet for one reason or another. But I'm not gonna tell you because I might do them one day, so no spoiler. Oops, hold on, I think I've missed a few. Roni, not really. There are some secret places that I don't want invaded, like Telegraph Hill, for example. I even considered going there tonight, but it's already a bit too busy, so I didn't know whether I'd get a very good signal. So it's a nice spot in Nunhead where you can see the sunset and where you have a nice view over the city. But no, I would say generally London is being invaded everywhere. There's no more secret places, or not really. Hold on, where am I? Who's my favorite royal, past or present? Linda, I don't know. I would say the only one I trust it's the Princess Royal, Princess Anne, because I mean she's the one that works the most. I don't think we get to know them really. I don't think we know their personalities. You know, Diana's brother, he published a book months ago. Oh, they've just turned the light on. Let me show you. It's looking quite good on the. He's just published a book about him being abused as a teenager and stuff, and he apparently in that book he actually supports Harry, and he claims that Harry is the good guy. I'm not sure what he means by that, but you know, I think there's probably a lot we don't know. And I like the king. I think he's full of good ideas in terms of the planet. You know, he's a very green man. He's been a great defender of organic food and stuff like that. So I don't mind the king, but I don't feel like we really get a chance to know them personally. You know, whatever they let their public face is their public face. You know, so. I've missed something. Why are we talking about politics? I don't know. Anyway, let's see the next one. Again, from 6 months ago, I had skipped it. Apologies, Janie. What's my favorite historical ghost story? I don't know. I would say probably the story of the Bolero jacket, the haunted Bolero jacket at the theatre on St. Martin's Lane. Just because it's different, and because, you know, they've actually investigated, they had some mediums, and it does look like there was something wrong with that jacket. So yeah. Right, let's see the next one. He talks to his plants. We should be talking to our plants. Yeah, I don't do it enough. I do it before to go on a holiday, so they know I've not abandoned them. I always let them know that I'll be back. But yeah, we should be talking to plants. I'm not necessarily a tree hugger and stuff, but really, they probably have a lot of energy to give us. Do my plants talk back? No, they don't. No, I've not had any messages from them. In terms of music, I'm actually very easygoing. I'll listen to some commercial stuff if I don't mind. Yeah, I'm actually. Well, it depends if I'm clubbing or if I'm just doing doing cleaning at home. But I'm actually very easygoing. Cool. I think I've catch up with the chat. Let's see. No. Herbie is asking, have you ever felt genuinely spooked on a tour, and when was it? I have indeed. Some of you might remember. Oh, the Queen, of course, the Queen. Yeah, I didn't think about the... I was only considering the living royals at the moment. But yeah. Oh, do you mean Queen the singer? Yeah. Anyway, so do you remember when we were in Nantes? That we talked about the Xavier Dupont de Ligonnès, the guy that is the main suspect for having eliminated all his family and buried them under the terrace. He's still running, so he could be well, he could be dead, but he's probably somewhere in Latin America, and he could have been actually watching the tour live. You know, I mean, if I was a serial killer or a mass murderer, and I had escaped and made it alive, if anyone did a tour about me, I would join. And yeah, so we were in front of his home, 11 p.m., you know, late at night. And there's a car, so that home is so famous in France. Infamous really. So obviously you see me with a gimbal on the phone, you know exactly what I'm doing. And there's a car that came behind me, actually quite slowly. And the guy just tried to scare me. So he just basically kind of pulled over right behind me, but I didn't even hear the car, and then screamed at me. That was scary. That was very scary. Right, good question, Mark. What did Mark ask? Oh, the band. Okay, I thought we went back to our favorite royals. Is Mary going? Bye, Mary. Cool. I think we're nearly done with the pre-written one. Oh yeah, one more. Would I ever come to Canada? Yes, I will eventually. The thing is, I don't want to go in the winter. It's freezing, and in the summer I can't really go anywhere because I'm in the summer. That's when I get the most work here. So it's a bit silly to go on holidays in the summer. But yeah, one day I have to go anyway because I think I have 10 Canadian dollars that someone gave me as a tip. So I need to go and spend them. So yes. Well, in that case, I also need to go to Poland, Australia, India. But yeah, I need to go everywhere. South Africa, yeah, I'd love to go to South Africa. But no one wants to go with me. A lot of my friends have already been, so I'm actually struggling to find anyone to go to South Africa. But yeah, I want to go. Cool. So that was the last one of the pre-written questions. Do let me know in the chat if you have any more. Otherwise, we'll wrap this up. Let me show you the view again because the light has changed. So the park is all nice and quiet now. The little building straight ahead, apparently it was used to store the lime. I'll stand up to show you the BMX track with the shard. You want to go with me to South Africa? Cool. I think it's an expensive one to visit though. Which US states have I visited? Well, I was an exchange student in Washington State, so I stayed there for about 9 months. In the middle, not far from Spokane. And I had been to California when I was 15 and Nevada, because when I used to live in New Caledonia, I might go for Christmas, by the way, so I might be able to take you to New Caledonia soon. It's an expensive one as well, so I don't want to get too excited, but we'll see. So yeah, when I used to live in New Caledonia, you could go back flying through Tokyo and then Tokyo Noumea, or you could do California, Tahiti, and Tahiti Noumea. So I had been to California then, and then I've been to. At the end of the school year, when I was with when I was an exchange student, I have been to Utah and Oregon. I've been to Oregon a few times actually, through that same year. Japan, I've been to Japan for 3 weeks. They have this deal on trains with Japan, so you can take as many trains as you'd like. It's about like $300, but that's really worth it because you can see a lot of the country. And China, I have been, but I have had terrible. I was there 2 months ago actually on my way back from the Philippines. I had quite a bad experience because actually, when Linda asked what was your worst travel experience, I also had on a Chinese aircraft, something happened in my ear. Couldn't describe it, couldn't understand what, but it was so painful. I just wanted to bite the seat in front of me. And when I was meant to spend only a day in Shanghai, but I just knew I couldn't fly again. So I went to a Chinese hospital, and the guy was really happy to speak English. He was like, "Oh, I want to go to Barcelona." I was like, "Yeah, my hair. Oh, it's a bit yellow. I want to go to Barcelona." And I was like, "Yeah, what's wrong with my hair?" "I want to go to Barcelona." He said it at least 20 times, and I had no idea what was wrong with my hair. And basically, I had to cancel my flight. I had to let my friends go. I managed to see an actual English-speaking doctor the next day, and I definitely shouldn't fly because my eardrum was about to explode, ear infection. So I stayed stuck in Shanghai for over a week alone, and couldn't take a train because it was Chinese New Year and the trains were packed. And oh no, there's a boy that fell. And so yeah, China. When everything goes to plan, it's a lovely country to visit, but when it gets a bit challenging, it can be very challenging. So at the moment, it's not a country that really appeals to me a lot, although there are a lot of beautiful places in China that I've not seen, mainly because I was stuck in Shanghai. So I'd love to go to Kunming and the south. Do I ever want to go to Hawaii? Not now, because I have a friend that lived there for like 5 years and she's just moved to Florida. So if I go to Hawaii now, she won't be happy because I never came to visit her. Australia, yes, I definitely want to go to Australia. I have been to Brisbane with school. When I was in New Caledonia, that was only an hour away, so we've been with school. But that's the only place in Australia I've seen, so I'd like to go again. Some opium in the 10 bells, is that a question? I've never tried opium yet. We never know what can happen in life, but at the moment I've not tried. Do I have nightmares after my tours that include murders? No, not at all. It doesn't. I'm not actually scared of people, you know. No. You know, I'm scared of, I don't know, rejection, or I'm scared of accidents, but I'm never really scared of people for some reason. It's probably a bad thing, but yeah. Yeah, Melbourne is nice. I'd love to go to Melbourne. One day. Well, if I did go to New Caledonia for Christmas, maybe I could go to Australia for a few days, because it's a bit silly to buy those very expensive flight tickets to go only to see my nephews and all that. So maybe, we never know. It's getting very chilly. Right, let's see if you have any more questions in the next few minutes. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up. Let me show you the view again. I love to watch the BMX people, but there's a little boy that fell, so I hope he's okay. Cool. I don't see any more questions coming through. Thank you very much for coming tonight. Let me flip this around again. And if you want to see a bit more of me, so we're heading to, where are we going? Trafalgar Square next weekend. So not this weekend, but the one after, because I'm in Skegness again tomorrow. And the weekend after that, we're heading to Peterborough. What happened is that I've been going to Skegness so much for work that I have some free credit on LNER train company, so I can use it taking you to Peterborough. Which time in history would you like to visit for a day? Oh, interesting one, William. I don't know. I think I'd probably go towards the Celtic area or maybe even further. Or maybe I want to go and see how they did Stonehenge. Yeah, I'd say probably the Celts, to try to understand their culture. It probably would have been very weird because they were, well, in this country they were all like tattooed everywhere, and they didn't bury their dead. So you'd that you'd go and they'll have their dead in their back garden. I mean, but yeah, I think it's probably an interesting time to go. And they used to keep the heads of their enemies as well. When they'd, they had those little huts, those, and you'd open the, the closet or whatever they had, and they had the heads of their enemies, So yeah. Yeah, Peterborough has a spectacular cathedral. Well, I've not been yet, but I know the cathedral is the main attraction, really. And there's a very famous person being buried in there. What will be my next stop tour? What do you mean by stop tour? Do you mean my next location? The next one outside of London, it is Peterborough in 2 weeks. So outside of London coming up, we've got Peterborough, then potentially Dover, beginning of June, and if everything goes to plan, Bognor the first weekend of July. Oh, hold on, I've missed a question. Hold on. Someone asked me how I prepared my tours. I didn't answer that, did I? I think I started and then I got distracted with something in the chat. So, how do I prepare my tours? It's because of Bognor. For example, I say I want to take you to Bognor. I have no idea what I'm going to be telling you about in Bognor. So that's why, how do I prepare my tours? I would say there's no logic behind it. Sometimes, like for example, next week we're heading to Trafalgar Square. I'm not ready. Although I know Trafalgar Square very well, I want to show you stuff I've not shown you yet, and we've been there many times. But sometimes I end up like, I have to work on Trafalgar Square, and I'm actually Googling stuff for Dover. 2 months, so I'm not very well organized. And sometimes I want to take you somewhere, so I'll have to find the stories there. Which can be a little bit harder, or sometimes I have a story in mind and I need to find a place. That's a little bit easier because you're never gonna run out of stuff to say. Like, for example, when I do the tours about the Jack the Ripper victims, I would find a location connected to their lives, and then I know I'm not going to run out of things to say because obviously there's so much to say about their lives, and so that's potentially a little bit easier when you already have a story that has a lot of details, because when you got nothing like Bognor, it can, well, in any case it takes a lot of time in research. That's why it's not very profitable, really, or at least not yet. I would need to quadruple my numbers because although the tour is just an hour, it's, I would say, at least 30 hours of prep for a tour, at least, sometimes even much more. you know, sometimes you'd have to read full books, and I'm dyslexic, so I'm a slow reader. You'd have to do hours of walk to find the best route and see if there's a signal. And but yeah, in terms of preparing them, I don't really have a set a set way of functioning, because it really varies. Depending if it's because I have a story and then I'm taking you there, or if it's because I have a location I want to show you because I'm going there, you know, like Bognor or like Dover, and then I need to find stuff to tell you about. Or when I go, for example, abroad, like in the Philippines, there were a lot of beautiful locations I wanted to show you visually, but then finding stuff to tell you about was much harder, because it's not that there's no history, it's just that, well, obviously finding it in a different language, and it's not the type of places where you'd have tons and tons of history books and stuff like that. Bognor is in the coast. Yeah, it's on the south coast. It's where George V used to go and recover from all his lung diseases, and according to some, that's his last words. He would have said, "Bugger, Bognor," but that's not true. That's not the last thing he said. Anyway, I think we've covered everything. So thank you very much for coming today. Hopefully I'll see some of you next Sunday in Trafalgar Square. If not, I'll see you in Peterborough the week after that. And Cynthia Payne was born in Bognor. Yeah, I need to do the thing is, sometimes I do too much research before to confirm that I'm actually going, because I would go there for a photography job as well, taking photos of a netball tournament this time, but yeah. Yeah, Ronnie, you know what? I know some of my friends and colleagues would do stuff like that. I prefer to have stuff to say, and I think some of my audience would be actually very surprised / disappointed if I did a semi-silent tour or a tour just looking at the views. But who knows? Maybe I should try. I don't know. I think sometimes people come for the stories, and yeah. Anyway, thank you guys. See you soon. Thank you very much for joining today. If any of you are gonna drop me a little tip, that's very, very much appreciated as well, as always. And I'll see you next week. Bye bye.